TCU's result to the 2018 season really surprised me. When we saw them at the beginning of the season, they looked dangerous and they looked like a team that can make a run for the college football playoff. Then after that, it just kind of, especially after that like Ohio State game, I do remember that one. After that, things were just kind of bumpy from there. I mean, we saw them win some great games. They also lost some tough ones. But how are they going to do in 2019? That is what we're going to be going over today. TCU's schedule preview. So we're going to be going over a few players that this team will be losing, who they're going to be returning. Also, we're going to be looking at their schedule for the first time this offseason. TCU went 7-6 in 2018. Ended up making a bowl game, so that is a plus from last season. But I mean, unexpectedly tough. I did expect them to at least make 8 wins at the bare minimum. I thought for sure that they'd be able to exceed that even. Didn't end up happening that way, and I don't think it's going to be much easier this year. They lose 2 receivers, 1 center, and a tight end on offense, so that is 4 losses on offense. Then they lose 6 on the defense. They lose 2 defensive linemen, linebackers, and safeties. So really, they're gonna have a lot to repair from this season. Lots of tough losses. How similar will 2019 be to 2018 is going to be a question a lot of people are going to be asking. I definitely think that it's going to be pretty similar. I don't really expect them to make it to 9 wins this season. They had all the keys to be able to have a pretty good season last year. I mean, they had a pretty experienced team, especially on their defense. I mean, their defense I really expected to be probably one of the better ones in the Big 12. Just because, I mean, in the Big 12, you don't hardly ever need a defense to be able to be a good team. It's mostly all about the offense. But yeah, definitely these losses will be impactful, I do think. I mean, of course with losses, I mean, if you don't lose a whole lot of players, it's likely that the next season will be an improved one or just as good if you're like a team like Ohio State, for example. Definitely could be a better season just because you're going to be much more experienced. And with that experience, almost always will come success. But here's what TCU's schedule looks like. It's kind of difficult. I mean, you got to play Texas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma. I think those are going to be the big 3 of the Big 12 this season. You also have to go on the road to Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech as well. And then you also have Purdue at the beginning of the season. Can't forget about that one as well. I do believe Purdue will be a pretty good team next season, believe it or not. I mean, really, we've seen them with their coach up there doing really well. They had a pretty good season last year. I mean, they played Auburn in a bowl game. Of course, they got destroyed, but I still think that Purdue game will be a challenge for TCU. They play UAPB. Should be a pretty easy game there. You also play SMU for your non-conference opponents. Should be a win there as well. Here's what I'm kind of expecting. I also think they're going to beat Kansas, but those are the only 3 games that I expect to be, well, guaranteed wins. But estimated record-wise, I am saying 5-7 to 8-4. I'd be really surprised if they went 5-7. I do expect them to make a bowl game. I don't expect them to exceed 8-4 though, just because of these losses that they're having. But yeah, at Iowa State, at Kansas State, 2 consecutive games. Those will be a challenge. I do think they're going to lose one of those 2 games. I think that Texas game though on October 26th, that'd be interesting. I think there'll be an interesting one. Should be a close one for sure. I mean, of course, they are coming off of a bye on October 12th, just a couple weeks prior, so that is going to help them, especially for that Texas game, even 2 weeks out. So yeah, that Texas game, could watch out for that one. That may be an upset. If there's going to be a big upset on this list, it'd be that Texas game at home. Oklahoma State on the road, they could win that, but it'll be difficult. Baylor at home. I mean, Baylor, you can't sleep on them next season. I think they'll be improved as well. And you can watch my schedule preview on them. I go over kind of why. And then you got Texas Tech and Oklahoma on the road. I think those 2 games may be losses just because Texas Tech is a tough place to play for one. And then Oklahoma, I mean, them just being them, Oklahoma should be a pretty great team next season. And of course, being on the road, kind of like Texas Tech, will be very difficult. West Virginia at home, I considered putting that in green. I did not quite though, just because it's the final game of the season. But yeah, West Virginia game, that should be a win. I think West Virginia should be, or they should struggle next season. I don't really expect them to do too well with all the losses that they're having. But yeah, once again, estimated record-wise, I'd say 5-7 to 8-4. If you want a more definite answer, I'd say 6-7 wins for next season for TCU. But anyway, that is it for TCU's schedule preview. We're going over the Big 12 right now, and we are just about done. So let me know your guys' thoughts on TCU in the comments below, and stay tuned for more from ASC.